Bring your awareness now to a planet that would look like a darker version of your Mars. Bring your awareness to we of Korval and our corporeal state living on this planet. And on that planet, we have what you would call a moose. The term that we would use in our own tongue is not one that translates to English, so we will call it the moose. It is closest in appearance. And so the people of Korval live and share spaces with our four-legged brothers and sisters, sleeping in the same place and eating the same food and talking amongst each other in the ways that we can, in the ways that you conversate with each other with no break in fluidity. We speak with our four-legged and winged and scaled companion. And so within our, we call it a village, and we'll use this term. In our village, there was a great moose, and the great moose was beloved by all for its innocence and its recklessness. We would say it was a very great but silly moose. Silly because on the planet of those of Korval were many great chasms, spaces where there is land and then there is not land for many, many miles. We would call it a great crater, many, many, many miles deep. And so focused more on heart rather than corporeal manipulation, as with technology, we simply built very sturdy bridges with rope and wood naturally shed by our trees. This bridge has naturally weight restrictions. But the great moose, great for its size and its bravery, would try to traverse the land, going across this great chasm on this bridge that was very precarious for it. There were no foundational supports beneath, so it might sway if a breeze came by or the weight was not appropriately applied. But the great moose wished to explore the land. The great moose did not care when we tried to tell it, "You are too big, your legs too knobby, you do not have the balance or the weight or the visual acumen to cross this bridge. You may fall. One of the steps may buckle under your great weight. It is unsafe for you. But this great and silly moose would not listen and go to the bridge and sway and wobble, ever pressing onward further and further across the bridge until one of the steps would break and its hoof would fall through, dangling above the chasm, and we would have to get our brother, Great Moose, and pull him back and repair the bridge and try to tell him. As you can imagine, when we repaired the bridge and we're not looking, the Great Moose once again went to that rickety bridge over the impossible chasm to try its hand at crossing again to the other side of our lands. One day, the Great Moose did make it across. And oh, the joy that you should have seen on its face. And oh, the shock on ours, who stood watching it from the other side. How did the Great Moose do it in the end? Because despite its exterior limitations, it focused on its desire and on what it believed inside. It did not acknowledge its knobby knees or its lack of visual acuity. It did not acknowledge the evolutionary girth it had been given. It did not acknowledge its limitations and pushed forward with its dream of seeing the other side of the land, of seeing a sight never before seen by its kind. And so we would ask you to be as that great and silly moose. Care not for the physical limitations or the physical vehicle that you have been given. Care not for any of your exterior circumstances that would seem to weigh you down. Think nothing of them and turn inward toward your heart and keep your eyes fixed on the goal. We would say in the mind of the Great Moose, care not if the bridge is rickety, care not if there are foundational supports. It does not matter, even if a step comes loose and your hoof dangles over the chasm. You have much support as we supported our brother. And when you have collected yourself, you must try again. Press forward and forget all else that tries to hold you down. For if you can fix your eyes on the other side and press onward, regardless of the voices telling you you cannot, that you are not equipped, regardless of your limitations, you will eventually reach the other side. And so we gift you the energy of the great and silly moose who conquered all of our laws of physics in your terms and crossed that great chasm to a new land.